Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training 52 minutes, roughly 52 minutes. I mean, I'll probably go over this timer in the top of the screen you can see. But yeah, basically today, what I want to do is take a look at this short chapter of this book for beginners, pretty much, on endgames. But I think actually some of the principles are not completely crystal clear in my mind, and I think we had like a puzzle yesterday where I got it right, but I think the resulting position I didn't quite grasp correctly, and it was this bishop versus multiple pawns type of endgame. So what we're going to do just to start off the session, and then I'll do my usual tactics soon after, is just take a look at this chapter from an old Glenn Fleer book called Improve Your Endgame Play. And yeah, these are the positions. So I've made a little study here. We're just going to set up the first one and try and solve that. So yeah, how have you guys been doing? I've actually done a lot of chess already today in different spheres, from chess lessons to chess business to chess training to chess reading, you name it. Chess everything. It's Chess Lifestyle, what do you expect? But yeah, things are alright. So this one, for some reason, like the text and the answer is at the top of the screen. And I didn't quite see the full solution, but the question is, how can black hold? And it's actually white's turn to play. So I mean, this is one of the kind of drawbacks of an old book. You know, they haven't really thought about it as well for the reader. Like, as you can see on the diagram, it doesn't even say whose move it is. You know, these are old-fashioned books, and this is what we had to deal with back in the day. But nowadays, they're a lot better at that kind of stuff. But it looks like king a6 was the move, and then black to play and hold. Yeah, so this one to me looks pretty clear. Welcome Josh to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, in this position I think it's just bishop e4. Because the point being is if the king moves, then we can just move the king and we can sack the bishop. And if the pawn moves, then we can move the king. And the problem was we can't move the king right now because of the pawn, so we'd need to do it like this and cover the queening square. So yeah. That's a nice simple one to begin with. And the next one, can black get back in time? So let's set that one up. And then we'll have a read. Oh, one more thing actually. If there are any 1d4 players watching this stream, there's a new opening that I've been looking into today. That's a black opening against 1d4. So if any of you would like to have a quick blitz casual game, I'd very much be interested in testing out this new system just to give it a shot. Can black stop the pawns in time? I wish I knew whose move it was. Let's see if I can see. Okay. I had a quick glimpse. Yeah, and unfortunately it's black to play and I know the first move now. Yeah. Okay, so it's black to play. Can black stop the pawns? So white is going up the board. Black's only got one bishop. And the first move was king e2, which I guess makes sense. So okay, if king e2, f4, king e3, f5, king e4, f6, king e5, f7. Well, bishop takes f7, and indeed, if the b pawn pushes, then we can bring the bishop and stop it in time. So is there any improvement over this? Like, not really, right? Because black is just harassing that white pawn the whole way. Like if, well, actually, okay, king e2, what if they try pushing this pawn? Well, then we can always sack and take, and we're fine. I think king f2 in diagram 8 should hold, yeah. I mean, in terms of good endgame practice, king e2 is always the better move than king f2, because you want to basically be close to shouldering this king. If your king is here, like when you're chasing as opposed to here when you're chasing, like it might make a tiny difference. So king e2 is in general, I think, better technique, I think, what the Russians would say. But yeah, I'm not really understanding like where it gets tricky. I mean, when we get to here and the pawn gets to here, yeah, our king is protecting this square, so the bishop's very easy to get back in time. So I think it's just completely fine. We just push this pawn. Trying to think, were there any moments? Maybe, for instance, this moment where we get here, and then rather than push the pawn, can they like bring their king in or something? And I don't see a move. Ooh, that's interesting. King e2, and when we get all the way over here, they can push the pawn. Yeah, okay, we can just take this pawn, right? My point being is we can't sack the bishop because then they'll push and then they'll promote. But I think what we can do is just take this pawn. No, but then they go here. Whoa. King e2, f4, king e3, f5, king e4, f6, king e5, and b5. If we take it, they just push and we're screwed. If we take the f6 pawn and they push b6, then we're also screwed. So what am I missing? Here. Ah, maybe that's the point. So when the pawn gets here and the king gets here, and white pushes b5, maybe we can play king e6 and try and use the king to stop the pawn in time. If they just push, then I think we can play king here. And if they push, we play king here and we're in time to stop. So at this moment they push. We come here. What if they try and bring the king up? Well, then they temporarily block. Oh, and then we really can sack, because now our king is one square closer to controlling this square. Right. So I think that's the win. I'm predicting that this is going to be the line, and then this is the one tricky moment where king e6 is the only move. And here we bring our king over like this, and it's a draw. That's my prediction. So let's see what... if king b6, you can just take the f-pawn with the king. Ah, you can also do that. That's a very good point. Yeah, so what Josh is saying at this moment, if king here, then we can just take, because wherever the king moves, we can sack. But I think this one is also winning. Yeah, like, this is winning as well. So let's have a look. So, a bishop has problems stopping two passed pawns when his king is outside the square of both. For diagram 8, black scrapes back in time. So what the first one is saying, with a pawn against bishop, there's usually no problem to stop the pawn. Black has to be on guard to hold the game after king a6 with the precise bishop e4, yeah, which is what we looked at. But for this one, black also gets back. So king e2, f4, king e3, f5, king e4, f6, king e5, b5, and king e6 exclam. Yeah, this was the move I found. So I'm glad I persevered with that to find this resource of b5 and find the solution of king e6, b6, king d7, king b5. Oh, king b5 is interesting. What is king b5? Why is king b5 not getting themselves in check? What is this king c8 check? What is king c8 check? This must be a typo. What the hell is that? Am I tripping, guys? b5. king e6, b6, king d7. Oh, king b5 is legal because that blocks. Blocks the bishop, so king b5, and king c8 is a discovered check with the king. King a6 and then king b8 draws, yeah. Okay, I didn't see this line with king b5, but I don't think I had to. I think king d7 is fair enough. Yeah, it is more than fair enough, I think. Yep, king e6 looks like a key move, kind of like the Reti position. Right, yeah, you make a useful move that... Well, I guess, is it Reti? Because Reti's position was the one where you play a move and it kind of does two jobs at the same time. I mean, this one I think is just one job. Was there a second job of the king, Josh? Like this time I feel like the... I guess you do. You get one square further forward, which covers the f7 square, so that pawn isn't as strong. So yeah, I guess you're getting a 2-in-1 job with king e6. Okay, so we've already seen that bishop and wrong rook's pawn doesn't win if the opposing king gets to the corner. However, there is another rarer draw with the same material. So in this position, it's in fact only a draw. Well, yeah, this one is only a draw, right? Because the king... Oh no, this is not a rook's pawn though, this is a knight's pawn. So this is a fortress, I guess, worth remembering. I'm really bad at remembering these very unique fortresses. Like this one I actually have some recollection of seeing, but it's like really hard for me to remember. Oh, this one's not a fortress, see? I don't remember. like I know that there are some fortresses, and I think maybe that's the point. Like just even knowing the existence of bishop and pawn versus king fortresses means that you can try to find them in a game, but to just memorize them, I think it's really ineffective. Like, you'll forget them, you'll forget specific details of which square the pieces are on. It's just like, it's better just to have a rough idea and calculate it in the game. So black manages to hold that, right? That's really surprising. So I guess the point is black's just going to shuffle king a8, king b7, and as soon as white approaches on a6, c6, or c7, it's just a stalemate. Yeah. And for this one, white just wins. So how is this one winning? Right, so even though it's king against bishop and pawn where it's a rook's pawn of the wrong color, actually it's winning for white. And I think the point being is that black is unable to get to the corner. Like, we can play the move bishop e6, and if they play king f8, we can play h6. Right? And if we go bishop e6, what if they go like king e7? Well, then we push h6 anyway. But then they don't have to take our bishop. They can play king f6. But then maybe we've got the fantastic move bishop f5. Does that work? No, because then they go king f7. And I don't see how we stop. Oh, no. Wait, this one's tough. Let's set this one up. Yeah, so I assume it's white's turn to play in this one. So let's set this up. So king on e3, king on e8. Bishop on h3, pawn on h5. Like, can you imagine if I read this book properly, like as a junior? Like, oh, I would have been so good at chess. But okay, better late than never, right? What is chat saying? I guess with the king on a8 on diagram 9, the white king cannot approach without giving stalemate. Yes, exactly. Fibonacci, welcome. How's it going? Glad you could catch another stream. Right, let's try and solve this one. So it's white to play and manage to win this, even though it looks very tight. So it's kind of sad that my intuition was bishop e6, given h6 is by far the more important move to have, like, calculate first. And because if king f8, then we've got this bishop e6, and then we're winning. So h6, king f7 is probably forced. But the problem is if we go bishop e6, they've got king g6. And if we go bishop f5, then they get to the corner. So maybe bishop e6 is a better move. Maybe my intuition was right that this pawn move is just hopeless, and it is hopeless, at least as far as I'm aware. So this looks very promising. Because if king f8, again we have this h6 and we're winning. So this is the only move. And how on earth do we win that? How on earth do we win that? Bishop e6, king e7. Oh god, there's so many moves to consider. Oh yeah, let's try and break it down. So h6 is one move to consider. King e4 or king f4 is one move to consider. Let's see if we can rule out the king move. So bishop e6, king e7. If we go like king f4 and they take our bishop, yeah, this is easily a draw because any pawn push, their king gets in the square. Any king g5, they just go king f7 and that's a draw. So bishop e6, king e7. We either have to push h6 or we move the bishop. Now where can we move the bishop? That would be potentially useful. Bishop here, king here. I don't see a single useful square. Because like, you know, bishop e6, king e7, bishop g8, then just king f6. And yeah, on h6 they can just go king g6, on h7 king g7, and they reach the corner. And then it's a draw. So I guess bishop e6, king e7, h6 is forced. Yeah, they can't take the bishop, because then we promote. So they have to play king f6. And where's the win? We need to cover the g6 square. That's an absolute must, I think. So that leaves either bishop f5 or bishop f7. If we go bishop f7, they can just take our bishop, because on h7 they just go king g7 and they take the pawn. So bishop e6, king e7, h6, king f6. Bishop f5 is therefore forced. They cannot take our bishop. Their only move is king f7. And what on earth do we have there? I feel like the only move we have is a move that covers both g8 and g6, so that means bishop h7. So you guys following? I'm saying bishop e6, king e7, h6, king f7, f6, bishop f5, king f7, and I think bishop h7. And we cover all of these squares. So then they'll come back to f6. And then we go king f4. Ooh, stopping king g5. Holy crap. So then they go back to f7. And we probably approach with king f5. They go king f8, king f6, and we flush them out. Holy crap, that's so cool. That's so cool. Wow. You should check out board 1 from here. Stoyanov Putt. Board 1 of what, Peter? Is there a tournament taking place right now? I didn't even know. What is January the 8th? What event is taking place where Stoyanov could be playing Putt? I mean, we just had Hastings. Is there another English tournament that's taking place now? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely down to look. I'm good friends with Victor Stoyanov. Or are you saying that Stoyanov Putt got this position, this bishop endgame? But yeah, Josh is saying, let's see if he got the same line as me. Bishop e6, king e7, h6, king f6, bishop f5, king f7, bishop h7. Boom, let's go. Yeah, no, king f6, king f4. Yeah. Oh, it's a previous British championship where this comes up. Okay, awesome. Let's have a look. Stoyanov versus Part. Right. Would this come up? Maybe this. I don't know if this is like some video or something. Oh, probably you have to buy this. Or what? Oh, is this free? Nice. Oh, this looks very good. This looks very good. Maybe we should sell this. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Peter. We can have a look at this and listen to. Oh my god, this looks like. This looks rough. If we're playing this game, maybe we'll save this for after we finish this chapter. I mean, this is going to be a lot more easy, and then this Nick Pert Stoyanov is going to be the final boss. So okay, let's see. So white cannot undertake anything positive in diagram 9 because of stalemate. In diagram 10, as we have already seen, black draws if he gets his king to the corner. Here white can prevent it, so we get bishop e6, king e7, h6, king f6, bishop f5, king f7, bishop h7. Fantastic. King f6, king f4. Yeah. And it's very important that king f4 is in the position, otherwise black is threatening this king g5 and then it's not working. So the king needs to be on e3 as well. Like, this is why these fortresses are so difficult to come by. Yeah. So now we have diagram 11. Black is a piece down, but hopes to draw by eliminating the last white pawn or converting it into an a pawn so that he can head to the corner and draw. Right, I think that converting it into an a pawn is key. Okay, so I guess it's black's turn to move, right? That would, I mean, let's... Okay, no, it's white's turn to move. White's turn to move. And we start with this bishop a5. So let's get this one down as well. So pawn here, bishop here. Also, how is my voice compared to the music? Is it a good ratio, or does my voice need to be louder? Does the music need to be louder? Maybe my mic is a bit too high. Wait, I probably shouldn't have messed with that. Maybe it was perfect as it is. Don't mess with something that ain't broke. So yeah, it's white to play here, and we see that the first move was bishop a5. Trying to play for the win. Is that actually winning? Yeah, I wish this book was written in a way that like lets you actually try and solve the position rather than just kind of just showing the answer. So yeah, maybe this is like a winning attempt. Oh, I can't hear any music? Okay, then let me turn myself down. Let me go down this quiet, and let me make the music a bit louder. Okay, and then I'll do this. Okay, any music now? Hopefully there's something. But yeah, let's have a think then. So what was the prompt? Oh god. So black is a piece down, but hopes to draw by eliminating the last white pawn or converting it into an a pawn so that he can head to the corner and draw. Right. So I guess if not for bishop a5, let's say white just made some random move. Well, I guess then that's a real bummer for them because they're just going to do this and win the pawn, right? Also, welcome Safsara to the stream. How's it going? How is chess? How is life? But yeah, so Yeah, so yeah, it makes sense that we need to play a move that deals with this. I guess maybe a move like bishop e7 wouldn't cut it, because then we just go king b5 and we push this pawn, and either we're gonna get a pass pawn or we're gonna trade off this pawn, right? So it looks like this is like a clever move to blockade. Yeah. And cover this square. So I guess the question now is, how would black go about drawing this? How does white go about winning it? Welcome Frizz to the stream. How's it going? Long time no see. Yeah, basically today we're taking a look at these bishop and pawn endgames. Because yesterday's stream, like I had a puzzle where I got right, but I kind of misevaluated the bishop and pawn endgame. So, gonna try and learn something here. So what are people's thoughts on this? Do you think it's a draw, or do you think it's a win for white after bishop a5? My gut instinct is that it's a win. Like, after king b5, b4, can we not just try and bring our king all the way over and zugzwang black and try and pick up this pawn and then have a winning endgame? How would black go about drawing this? Maybe rather than go to b5 then, where the black king only defends the pawn from one square, what about trying to defend on these squares, right? Like if we just had like king c6, b4, king b7, like how would white make progress there? Because white can never push the pawn, we can't trade, obviously. Where would we need this king to be? Let's say we get the king all the way here, and it's black's turn to play. Well, then they'll need to move here or here. Both of them will probably lead to the same outcome, in which we'll bring the king here. Black only has one move, and then yeah, we get them in zugzwang and we win the pawn. So I think white's just winning at this moment. This is my guess in the position. Let's see how the game went. So bishop a5 is correct. Bishop e7 is blunder. Because of king b5 and a5 a4, which is what I was suggesting. So bishop b5, bishop a5, king b5, and b4 exclamation. And it says, white calmly brings his king over to take the a pawn. Black can do nothing. A plausible finish being okay. And he gives some line where basically white wins the pawn. So okay, I think my evaluation was correct. I'm in class right now, but it ends soon. Okay, glad to hear. Yeah, school's almost over. Yeah, that's nice. And hey, there we go. That's a wrap. So that's bishop against pawns, just some very basic understanding. So what did we learn from this? We learned that bishop against one pawn, normally the bishop can do its job. Bishop against two pawns, which I think was the one I was looking more into. Harder, but yeah, this is a nice example where black stopped it. There are some fortresses for both sides, where this one is actually... Okay, this one's kind of not a fortress. I don't know what to call this one, where it's like normally a draw, but then you win. It's like a reverse fortress, I guess, or something. So yeah, some interesting examples to calculate. I'd say overall, I don't think I learned much about bishop versus pawns. So probably I need to whip out Duretsky. Do I incriminate myself by downloading it from the internet right now? I have the book, so I mean, no one can chat shit, but I don't have it on me. That's the problem. Maybe I'll download it for Friday, and we'll have a look at Duretsky's bishop versus pawns while we're on the topic. So I mean, the great thing about Duretsky is that he also gives some really nice principles to follow, which sometimes are way too complicated and unnecessary, but there are some really nice nuggets of information. So I feel like this was more of a good calculation exercise than like really getting to the bottom of bishop versus pawns. But yeah, maybe this video actually will shed some light. So let's... Oh, that's not the video. This is the video. So let's watch this together, and we'll pause when there's something particularly relevant. Okay, let's have a look.
So in a couple of your games.
Okay, this is really quiet. Oh, I know this guy. This guy is... He works with Chessbase? Wait. Is that the same guy as the guy I know? I don't know. Anyway. There's a chess guy I know who looks just like him. But yeah, let me... How do I get the volume up on this? I will stop the music and turn this right up. And let's have a listen.
Out some of the key positions, and I'm very looking forward to investigating them with you. And for you at home, we have all the games below in the Chessbase article. You can see the description in the YouTube video, of course, so you know where to go to. Well, the board is yours, literally, so we can take a look at the some.
Okay, so yes, so actually like the
Okay, let me move my camera because I'm clearly blocking the way. Let's just chuck me over here. Okay.
sort of interesting positions for me started actually in round 1.
Oh, I think it is the same guy. So this guy Arna, I've only spoken to him on Twitter, but basically he is a bullet chess addict, and he's a bullet chess addict and proud. Like, he made this course called it's a course about bullet chess, which is really funny, but there's actually some really good tips in there. And I didn't get the course, but he has some like free YouTube videos that go with it, and I watched those. It's like random little hacks, like, you know, make the board a bit smaller, this kind of stuff. Oh, I see that you don't even see the full board. Okay, one sec. Let me switch this up. But yeah, basically, oh god. Anna is very cool. And yeah, I didn't realize that, one, he's German, and two, he's working with Chessbase. But yeah, let me just do, what's the best way to do this? Probably this. Maybe? No, maybe this, and then I'll chuck myself over here. Let's try that. Okay. I kind of want the music in the background, you know? It's like kind of a vibe. Okay. I'll just put the music for me. Like, sorry guys, it's gonna be miserable for you, but I like the music in the background. But I don't get the music going and this video. It'll be a bit...
And I was playing against this player, Victor Stoyanov, who actually plays at my local chess club.
Okay.
And we got this position here, and it's black to move. Go on, I'll give you a little test then, Arnie. If you're black here, how would you go about trying to draw this position?
Oh boy. And I can see Anna's reaction as well, like, for God's sake, are you really making me solve something here? So, okay, let's give this our best effort, and then write your answers in chat. Can I get rid of this more videos? Stupid sign. No. Okay, never mind, whatever. So, first and foremost, white is going up the board. My first instinct is that this should just be a draw easily, in the sense that surely we can find a way to sack the bishop for one of the pawns and the king just blocks the other. But now I'm realizing that's just really stupid, because the whole point is that we can't just sack the bishop for this pawn, for instance, because bishop, king, and a knight's pawn would just be winning. So that was already... This is what I mean, like, my principles in these endgames are absolute garbage. So, first thing to note then is the A pawn is, the wrong color on A8. So that means if we can sack for G3 and get our king to the corner in time, then it will be a draw. So that's the first thing to calculate. It's black's turn to move. What happens if bishop takes G3? So if bishop takes G3, king G3, and let's just very basically go king F7. If white pushes the pawn, we are in time to reach the corner, right? Bishop G3, king G3, king F7, A4, king E6, A5, king D6, A6, king C6, A7, king B7. And yeah, you reach the corner. So bishop takes G3, king takes G3. And I guess the big question is, can this king make it to the corner in time? And this is probably where I think, if we go by the position we just looked at, we're going to get to that. Can I annotate this? I can't annotate it. I reckon we're going to get that position where the pawn gets to a6 and white puts their bishop on a7, controlling these three squares. And this is where, if Stoyanov wants to draw, he actually needs to bring his king up the board towards c4. He needs to shoulder this white king and prevent the white king from coming up to c4 or b4 to cover this b5 square. Because if you imagine you've got this position where the black king is like on c7, and you've got the bishop on a7 and a pawn on a6. At the moment that black plays the move king c6 to try and become king b5, you need to be in a position as white to play king c4 to cover this b5 square, and then it's winning. So bishop g3, king g3. Let's have a think. So if king f7, and they go a4, king e6, a5, king d5, bishop a7. I don't think bishop a7 is working there, because just king c6 and a6 and king b5, right? So bishop g3, king g3, king f7, a4, king e6, a5, king d5, a6. Yeah. That's a draw. Yeah, that's a draw. So what's the way you can mess this up? Like bishop g3, king g3. Let's say they try king f8, right? Going in a straight line to the corner. So if king f8, a4, king e8, a5, king d7, a6, maybe on king c6 you could try bishop a5 as well. Maybe that's kind of interesting. That's very interesting, actually. Bishop a5 is another way to block out the king if it goes via c6, right? Bishop g3, king g3, king f8, a4, king e8, a5, king d7, a6. I think on king c6, bishop a5 wins. So, okay, the pawn is on a6, your king is on d7. So if you go king c8 then this is probably where white goes bishop a7, and then king c7. And can the white king get back in time? I don't think so. King f3, king c6, king e3, and we're way too far away. So my feeling is it's a draw, but you need to make sure you don't play king c6, but you play king c8, right? Bishop g3, king g3, king f7, a4, king e7, a5, king d7, a6, king c8. Bishop a7, king c7. King f4, king c6. Wait, but actually king c6 isn't even that effective, because the problem is white can just move the bishop and you can never play king b5 because they push a7. Hold on a second, I'm so confused. I need to go back to this exercise that we looked at. Which one? This number 10. So why... What was the line? So it was bishop e6, king e7, h6, king f6, bishop f5, bishop h7, bishop h7, king f6, yeah, on king f6, why do you need king f4? Is that an alternative win here? Like, you know what I mean? Like let me explain this. So we're saying in this position, what was the right answer? Bishop e6 here, and then it was h6 here, and then it was bishop f5 here, And then you had to control both these squares, so bishop h7. And here, I was saying that it's significant that we can play this move to stop this. But I don't think it is. I think already at this point we can move. Ah, but if we move, they're not going to come here, they're just going to come back, right? And then this is still a draw, because then we've got the same problem. So in this position, not this one. Oh god, where were we? In this one. In this one. So let me go through that line again. So we're saying bishop g3, king g3, king f7, a4, king e7, a5, king d7, a6, king c8, bishop a7, king c7, king f4. And on king c6, yes, this is a draw, because even if the bishop were to move away, black just goes back king c7, and you cover both b8 and b6, so the only move to hold is bishop back to a7, in which black goes king c6, and it's a repetition. So then it's a draw. So yeah. Okay, Josh says, I saw 2024 performance rating list. Dwayne Jones at 27-27. Number 17 in the world, damn. Wait, you're saying that it was number 17 performance rating? Or this is actually his rating? No, number 17? 17th in the world has a higher rating than 27-27, right? So what do you mean by this number 17? Isn't sacking the bishop an insta draw? I mean, definitely not insta, in the sense that I think, like, these are never that simple, but I think it is. King f6, king f7. Yes, you got it, Peter. Yeah, that's the thing that I had to work out, which I kind of missed before. Welcome, Venom, to the stream. Glad you didn't miss this one today, so there'll be no YouTube comment later saying you missed it. Okay, free now. How's chess going? Yo, chess is going very well. Actually, I keep accidentally clicking on this tab, and that is because this is like some kind of New Year's resolutions of sort, where I'm basically just trying to do some tactical work every day. And if you look at my profile, it's pretty insane. I've basically been doing Puzzle Storm every single day. I've been matching the number of bullet games I play with training. And okay, we're doing all right. I'm on 2577 bullet, which is, okay, I mean, it's bullet, but yeah, like I'm feeling a lot sharper, which is very nice. I mean, you can probably tell even from just this like discussion of endgames and calculation speed. I think it's good. So yeah, let's see what Nicholas has to say about this.
One of my typical mistakes.
Yes.
Videos. It's a very similar concept to this one. So,
and this is, by the way, since you're just mentioning it, of course, you have noticed it. We just have a couple of days left for the typical mistakes bundle, which you
whatever.
It's from
black to move. I mean, I don't know if it's easier to put it from Black's point of view, but
oh, please, for the love of God, do not flip the board at this moment. If they flip the board, it's all over. It's the end.
Seeing what kind of mistakes they generally make, and then trying to put them into different chapters, and that has proved to be quite useful, I think. But yeah, go on, see if you can figure it out.
I think I will just take on g3.
Very good, yeah, excellent move, yeah. Because if you don't take on g3 and white gets to move the g pawn, then that's probably a lost position for black, realistically.
Like, yeah.
So you've got to take on g3. Okay, I have to realistically take the bishop, and you correctly identified that the main concept is to get the king to the a8 corner.
Yeah.
If you can get the king to a8 successfully, then it's just a standard textbook draw. So my opponent played king f7, and he actually offered me a draw at this point. But I actually had one little idea in mind. So rather than simply accepting the draw, I came up with my one idea. So if, for example, I just try to bring the king in, so for example, king f4, I can't stop his king from reaching the corner. So I might get something like this, and then he gets back to a8, and that's the standard draw with the rook's pawn, bishop and one kind of rook's pawn. But instead, I had this idea after king f7. I played this move a4. He was now, I think, relaxing. I think he just assumed it was a draw, so he played this sort of quite quickly now. Played king e6, and this kind of played into my hands because I was playing quickly, sort of bluffing, as in
it's over anyway.
So I put a5, and in this position here, he made a key mistake which cost him the game.
No way! Did Victor play king d5 here? Oh my god! Like, I think like this is a kind of mistake that I wouldn't be able to forgive myself for. if I had so much confidence in my ability that I would just blitz this position out. Because, I mean, if Nicholas Pert is declining the draw offer here, there must be, like, at least something to play for. And clearly, you know, like, he's not going to just play for the fact that you don't know that the king goes to the corner. So I guess what must have happened was king d5, a6, and king c6, and just bishop a5, cold shower, game over. That's insane. That's insane. King d5 here isn't the move. No. King d5, a6, king c6, bishop a5. Yeah, we spent the first 10 minutes of this stream looking at these fortresses and stuff. So, okay, this one wasn't in the book, but like I kind of came up with it on the same idea. So yeah, you have to go king d7 here. That's ridiculous. Oh my god, I actually think that's actually crazy. Like, imagine playing a GM. You've worked so hard to get to the draw, and you mess up here. That's crazy. This. Peter said, "I've remembered this game and sworn never to blunder this."
It's actually
like, honestly, Peter, thank you so much for sharing this, because I mean, I could easily make this blunder as well, and I would literally be crying for a week non-stop. Genuinely, if I hadn't jumped off my building by then.
very important what move you play here with black.
Oh my goodness, he lost this.
Yeah. So which move would you play here with black?
Come on, Ada. I have confidence in your 2600 bullet. Come on, you could do this.
But now I'm so confused. I thought it was like yes, it was like clear. I thought so. It's
You thought it was straightforward as well.
king d7 or
Yeah, I mean, king d7 is the correct move. Yeah, king d7 would have been the correct move. He played king d6 again, but then after a6.
King c8.
Yeah, you looked a bit unsure whether to go for c6 or c8, but yeah, c8 is actually the correct move. That's the correct move.
And c6 doesn't work.
C6 doesn't work, no, because all the time you're thinking about bringing this bishop down this diagonal.
And now you...
but in fact, there's just another move that white has here, which just wins straight away.
You just go to d8 with the bishop or something, right?
Exactly, yeah,
Oh
d8
my
or
goodness.
a5, yeah. And then he's in this zigzag.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
completely busted. So that's actually
Oh, I hate GMs. I actually hate GMs. Screw these guys. Oh my god.
what happened in the game. So
Holy crap.
he played king d6, and then I put a6, and now he's actually lost because his only way to stop the pawn is king c6, and then bishop a5 or bishop d8, like you say. And he just can't get to the corner. It's just let me queen. So that was a bit of a let off in the first round, I have to say.
I actually feel so terrible. Like, this wasn't even my blunder, but knowing Victor, oh my god, I never knew of this. That's actually crazy. Oh my god, in the first round of the tournament as well. Like, imagine starting off this tournament. Holy shit. I'm actually, okay, you know what I'm very curious about? What was this? British Championship 2022. Victor Stoyanov. I want to look up his tournament. I want to see if he actually had... That's not Victor. Okay, I spelled Victor wrong. My bad. Also, respect to Victor for getting FM. I know he's dipped a bit, but like, yeah, I mean the grind was real. I mean he's been 2200 for ages, but he managed to put in the work to hit that golden 2300. So yeah, huge respect. But yeah, when was this? This must have been around this time. Oh yeah, okay. The immediate tilt, losing the second game. I mean, Alfonso is a very strong player. Okay, beating Matthew Foster. Actually, how is Matthew Foster? Like, what FIDE is he nowadays? I mean, Matthew used to be always weaker than me. But yeah, now he's not. Now he's above 2000, and I think maybe he was even higher at one point. Yeah, he's been 2000 for a while. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Alfonso, Matthew Foster, Oscar Pollack. These are all players in my generation. I mean, maybe a little bit younger than me, but I mean, I was a bit of a late bloomer when it came to junior chess, so I was playing in these junior tournaments with these guys. But yeah, it looks like he had an alright... Oh no, he didn't have an alright tournament. I thought he had an alright tournament, but yeah, no, minus 34. Ouch. Oh, and you guys actually played in the 7th round. That's so funny, Peter. And you guys drew. Back when Peter was a lowly 2000 compared to the heights he is today. But yeah, crazy. Oh my god, I actually feel so much dread. Just that's actually so horrible. That's actually so awful. Fritz says I almost beat GM Gatakamsky a couple days ago, but every time I'm winning against a GM, they play fast and I lose on time. That's crazy. That's crazy. Was it just like in the 3-0 blitz pool? And was this on chess.com? Like, how did you manage to get him? I think I saw the bishop sack and just assumed he drew, and then later saw he lost and didn't understand how. Had to check out the game. Tough game in round 8. Oh, that was that was against you, Peter. Nice. Yeah, insane. I'm almost tempted to watch some more of these because I mean this was kind of cool. Should we watch some more? Parts walkthrough? Yeah, go on. Let's watch one more. Why not?
As you quickly identified,
look at Anna's reaction. He's absolutely devastated as well. I mean,
the correct drawing plan was actually King D7, A6, King C8, and then I would have tried Bishop A7 here in the game.
Oh, that is sneaky too.
There's like a famous study. There's a famous study where the white king is somewhere, I can't remember exactly where it is, like C2 or C3. And
look at this guy. He remembers the study like perfectly. I mean, I think it was C3, right? See, I literally just did it. I don't even remember where the king was. Where was the king? Oh no, okay. This one is like on D3. So okay, maybe this isn't even a famous study. I don't know. But yeah.
You get this position and it's actually winning for whites, and you get this idea of bishop a7, pawn a6. But in this situation, my king is just too far away because let's say king f4. Now he can play king c6.
That should seal the deal after all. Yeah.
Yeah, he's threatening to win my pawns.
Yeah.
I need to be able to play king c4 now. Then I'm winning. But because I can't get the king to c4, I'd have to move the bishop out. Otherwise, he just plays king b5, takes my pawn, and then he goes back.
Okay, I'm super glad. I'm super glad that we've done this training session because I mean, yeah, I think we've got enough emotional memory attached to this situation that we're not gonna mess this up if this actually comes up. But yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. It was in a 5+3 960 chess tournament. That's insane. But I mean, you say that he played fast. How would you lose on time if it's +3 seconds? I mean, Frizz, you should have enough blitz experience by now to not lose on time with +3. But okay, you're playing a GM and the pressure's, getting to you. Like, I understand.
Back and same thing again. I can't keep him at the corner.
It is so tricky. I never actually knew. I'm a little bit blown away, and this is the first game we're checking. So I'm really I genuinely didn't know. So I'm learning something for life. I'm just imagining I'm black. I'm in the same situation, and then I'm just quickly playing king c6. And then I'm realizing
he blitzed out king d6 and then he was lost. so sometimes.
That laugh of a GM. Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Just bits like that.
Man, this is so crazy. Wow, yeah. But that's what makes the difference. You know this stuff, of course. You are aware of those little last tricks and things, and if you're not aware of them, then that you have to.
You've watched the video, Peter. Amazing. Huh? This is what I mean. Nick Putt knows the endgame, and Peter CM is one step ahead of me. Watch this video already. It's like, yeah, we're all just catching up. I was low on time and lost in the time scramble. I see. Fair enough.
More chess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is actually basically just to never relax in chess.
Yes.
It's just never over. Even when you think it's completely over, just don't. If you've got time on the clock, just double check, triple check, make sure nothing funny is going to happen. But yeah, I was very lucky to get this, and then I won.
How did he feel after that? Did you have to pat his shoulder or?
Yeah, I think he was a bit upset. But anyway, I mean, he was like, he was polite about it and everything. He probably just went mad when I wasn't there. Yeah.
Oh boy! Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's definitely a typical mistake that all levels of the Fritz trainers you have made already probably made. They are relaxing a bit too quickly.
I think
Good
so.
advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah, so then I was on to my next game, and in this one, I'll just flip the board here. So this one was one which I ended up drawing against David Eggleston, and he actually had a really good tournament. He actually finished in third place on 6.5 out of
Holy
9.
moly.
So yeah, he did very well. Beat several title players along the way. I can't remember which ones. I think he beat James Jackson. I think he beat about 3 title players. Maybe Brandon Clark. He might have beaten. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, to get him in round 2 was actually a very tough pairing because there were a lot of other guys who were getting genuine sort of 22-50 stay level opponents. Was I was playing like an IM who tends to do quite well in Britishes, so it was quite a hard pairing. But anyway, I got this position on black, so and I've got pressure on his rook on f2.
That's so interesting, the comment that Nick just made, that, you know, he got an opponent who tends to do well at the British. And the question I've always asked myself is, like, you know, these players who tend to have a good tournament at a certain tournament, why don't you just play that tournament? Like, why do you play all these different ones? Just like, okay, you can get some practice elsewhere, but, like, you know, just play the British every year without fail and smash it. Like, I have one tournament like that, which is like the Dortmund tournament, and I don't think it's necessarily like much easier than some of the other tournaments I've played, but I've consistently gained 30 points every time I go. And I think there's a lot of factors. It's like the environment, the how the tournament is run, like the mood I'm in when I'm visiting this part of the world, like lots of factors. But it's like, yeah, like I should consider it for myself as well. Like I wasn't necessarily thinking that I would play Dortmund this year, but maybe I should. Like, I don't know. Like, actually, for any of you tournament players in the stream, on chat, like, do you guys have any go-to tournaments that you like to try and play every year? And if so, what are they?
Mm-hmm. And
Indeed,
yeah, so he can't.
Placebo effect? Like, you think that you're going to have a good tournament, so you actually have a good tournament? Is that what you mean? Okay, let's see.
Obviously, you can't really block it. I mean, if he plays like Queen C5, I just do. And then Britishes, so it was quite a hard pairing. But anyway, I got this position on black, so and I've got pressure on his rook on f2, and
Indeed,
yeah, so he can't really block it. I mean, if he plays like Queen C5, I just take his queen because his knight's pinned. Yeah, so he's got to play Rook F1. It's really his only move. And I saw there's several variations where his knight might come back into the game, like for example, Knight C5 and back to E4 and just secure his position. So I didn't want to allow the knight to come back. So in this position here, I played.
No. One fraction of a second too slow to pause the video. I wanted to try and guess the move. But okay, you played Rook C8. So what's the point of Rook C8? Basically to stop Knight C5. It also looks pretty nice because you've got this. See, this is why doing puzzles pays off. I immediately, in like 0.1 seconds, see Queen takes F3, Rook takes F2, Rook C1 with checkmate on the back rank. So this is something that 1 week ago I wouldn't have seen this instantly. Like it may have taken like a little bit more time. So yeah, I got to keep up these tactics.
And with Rook C8, and that's got a very big threat behind it. I don't know if you can see.
It's C1, right?
So let's just say he plays something. Well, there's probably more than one winning move against this, but let's just say he plays something random, like for example, Night Before. Yeah, there's a kind of forcing checkmating. I mean, there's probably say more wins, but there's a forced checkmating line here.
So what about this idea of Rook C1 now?
Okay, so Rook C1 probably is good. I don't know if White can try something like Knight D3 and just try to
D3.
See, Rook C1 is the kind of move I would have suggested 1 week ago. But given how many puzzles I've been solving this last week, like I'm not missing Queen F2, which is really nice.
Try to hang on way to be honest, but there's an absolutely.
You immediately take on F2, right?
Yeah, you take on F2, and in fact, the most clean is probably with the Queen. Yeah. Just one as well, yeah. it. So yeah, this was my main threat. It was this queen takes f2. So he played, and I actually looked here. I looked actually. Oh, what happens if he goes knight c5? Because I thought, okay, knight c5 is a bit of a tricky move. He might try it to mix things up.
Ew, this is tricky. Not in the pin anymore.
You have to be very slightly careful. But then I think.
Okay, so his mouse is already hovering over his rook on f8. But yeah, it makes sense as well, right? Because the problem with, let's say, just rook takes c5 is that he can go rook takes f8, right? Bishop f8, rook f8, and we're actually probably in trouble there. I don't know how in trouble we are, but it's definitely not something pleasant that we want to get ourselves into, I think. Yeah, probably not. So the point being is that maybe just rook takes f2 first. If they go rook takes f2, then we can go rook takes c5. Oh shit, can we? There's queen a8. Rook takes f2, rook takes f2, rook c5, queen a8. And we're screwed. So rook takes f2, queen takes c5 maybe is the way to do it. Yeah. And then we're just a piece up.
Figured actually it's okay. I can just take his rook. I can just take the rook. And when he takes back, I can just play, not rook takes, because then he plays like queen a8, and I got back rank problems. But I can just play queen takes, and I think it's just winning for me basically.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, knight c5.
Okay, Frizz making a mess up, missing queen takes f2. So yeah, we all need to keep up our tactics, I think.
I've covered, yeah. So then he played g3, and my original intention in this position, we were both starting to get a bit low on time, was to play rook c2, and I thought, okay, if I play rook c2, if he has to play something like queen g2, for example, it's just like a desperate position for white because. I can take these pawns, or maybe just play e4, bishop d4. It just looks horrible for what I think is just completely lost. Yeah, maybe e4 is the clearest bit, and then bring the bishop in for a bit more pressure on his rook. And then I suddenly realized.
So that means there's something here. What on earth could the move be? Oh my god. The hell. For some reason I feel like knight c5 might actually work. Because if knight c5, if queen takes c5, then we can just go queen takes c5, we protect f2 again. And if they take on c5, then we can take on f8, right? So if knight c5 and they take with the rook, well then we can just take on f8. And knight c5, if they take on f2, let's say with the f8 rook, well then we can just take on f8, because we've blocked the pin. So I think knight c5 is the move.
In this position, he's got this unbelievable saving move in this position. I don't know if you can.
Is knight c5 so unbelievable? Maybe Nick's just very happy with it. I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like that special, but maybe
what it is
seems to do the job.
I was really frustrated when I saw that he had this move.
No, it cannot. No. I'm wrong.
It's along the line. So we just looked. It is actually knight c5 now, and this incredibly is actually saving the game for white.
We got it.
Because if we take it with the queen, for example,
can the boxes of the guests be bigger? This is just a video. This is just a video on ChessBase. It's not like a live Zoom meeting or something. So no, I cannot make the boxes bigger. Yeah, basically we're looking at this because at the beginning of the video there was an endgame that came up in one of Nicholas Pert's games that was very similar to an endgame we were studying just now. So we're taking a look at the video, and now we're just taking a look at the rest of the video because it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so far we're seeing a lot, which is very good.
Yeah, then he just obviously trades, and then he just takes my rook, and that's well, it's definitely not losing for white anyway.
No, definitely not. No. Oh
Um,
no.
And if I take with the rook, he's got rook takes rook, and so I guess the critical line is if I play rook takes rook first, but
Gosh.
then after rook takes, he can take back with the rook,
Yeah.
and now still if I play queen takes c,
I didn't see queen takes now. Right, I just saw trade everything and there's nothing, but yeah, we can actually take here. So if we were to take here, why does black not stay up a piece at the end? We can play queen a8. And whichever blocks, queen f8 or bishop f8, we can just go queen takes f8. And then again, we get this rook endgame.
5. I think you can just play queen d8.
Or queen
check.
d8, it's the same. Queen a8 or queen
And
d8.
then block it so that you can just take, or maybe queen f6 is a draw as well. Take, and it's obviously not losing for white again. And if I play rook takes, he doesn't have queen d8, but this time he's got
A8.
queen a8 exactly, and then he gets me on the back rank. So yeah, it was just very frustrating. I suddenly saw that my whole plan had been rook c2, and he just resigned.
Not
And then suddenly
nice.
I saw this knight c5 move, so I was thinking, I thought, okay, he's bound to find it because it's really the only move he's got.
Gosh.
So then I played e4, and he played king g2, and then he offered me a draw, which actually was quite clever timing, and I ended up bottling out because quite low on time. But the line I'd been looking at was take e3, and then rook here, and I was trying to figure out what is going on in this position, and that's actually very hard to do. I think it's supposed to be
Super
equal.
wild.
Yeah, but it's just, it could go either way. Like, for example,
Yeah,
go
a
on,
computer would say like, oh, that's probably equal or whatever, but of course this looks far from
yeah,
equal.
with flags hangers. I mean, for example, I mean, if I thought about it, if I'd seen this move, I probably would have tried e2 here. But just with the idea, just if he plays, for example, rook e7, of just sacrificing that pawn and just trying to get some tricks, something like this, because it looks quite dangerous, even though I'm 2 pawns down, and I've got mating ideas. I think he has to find queen d1, and he has to be quite careful. Then he has to find king g1, and unfortunately for me, bishop d4 almost works because if he takes, but when he takes
check.
it,
takes
it's
almost
check.
check,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. It
Annoying.
almost works. And if I move my king, I think he can play something like this. This is just one line, and then I think I have to take a perpetual or something like this. But yeah, if I'd seen something like this, I probably would have gone for it. But I was nervous after this of what would I play if he played rook f7, and one line where it could go wrong, for example, is if I play rook e8, which looks like quite a natural move if you're trying to win.
Let's try and have a think. What would white do here? Why was Nick Part scared of white's next move? Oh, I don't know if this is too much, but I was thinking like rook takes g7, king takes g7, queen d7 check with the fork, king f8 forced, and then knight c7 to try and hit that rook and be menacing, bring this knight in, but I don't know if it's actually something. Probably queen b7 check, and do you really have enough? Yeah, queen b7 check, and then you can go queen d5, protecting your rook. Probably black's happy to try and play that. Maybe you can change the move order? What if you start with queen d7? Queen d7, you threaten the rook and the bishop? I'd be scared. Yeah, queen d7 looks very scary.
It's actually a mistake because he could play knight d7, and after e2, knight takes rook. I get a second queen, knight takes bishop.
What?
The computer actually says that white's completely winning.
White's completely winning this position? That's actually insane. Oh, the chessboard left bottom edges are slightly out of the screen too. Esther says, why were you telling me about the guests needing to be bigger and not telling me about the board? I mean, this is clearly a priority. And actually, no one told me this. Like, we've literally been on this for 15 minutes. Okay, sorry, I should have fixed this. Okay, in that case, let me. I don't know what to do. Okay, let me add my camera here. No one wanted to tell me that. Man. Okay, let's do that. I have to delete this later. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this covers everything then.
Here, back's completely busted. Even with two queens on an open board, you're just completely lost.
That is crazy.
Which is, yeah, it's just. I mean, if I had this position, I would just assume there's got to be like a way to get at least a draw or something.
Sure.
But apparently, it's just completely lost for black in this position. So yeah, it was. I mean, it was a kind of pretty well timed draw offer by him, but it was a bit of a mess. Maybe I could have played on. But...
Okay, so you guys are just chilling with seeing half the square. Okay, that's fair. Okay, I guess like you don't expect too much from these streams, so you'll. I mean, you probably had to deal with worse, right? So it's clearly not that big of a deal. Yeah. Question from Frizz: do you have any tips on how to be less nervous on an important chess game? I actually do, and it's not my advice, but the reason why it's fresh on my mind is because. I have a friend, Hakeem, who actually joined last stream, who actually got 2,000 FIDE in his first classical tournament, which is fantastic. And I gave him a piece of advice, which really paid off, which was basically that when you get nervous in a game, or you start to feel the adrenaline rushing, because maybe you've got a better position against a strong player, this is like the typical example, you need to just focus on two things. And the first thing you need to focus on are the moves themselves and the position on the board. Like, nothing else matters, the result, who you're playing. At the end of the day, if you make the best moves in the position, you'll win this game, right? So it just comes down to the actual position on the board and the moves. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you focus on your breathing. And this is until I heard this advice from Davrin Kujasevic, the Grandmaster, like I'd never considered like breathing in a situation like this, but it's unbelievable how useful it is. Like, you just take a second of clarity to be like, okay, I need to remember to breathe. You just take a few deep breaths, and suddenly your heart rate does cool a bit. Of course, it's not perfect. Like, if you're really nervous, and I mean, I had a situation where I was playing this FIDE Rapid last month, and I was playing in FM, and I had a good position, and I knew it was good. But the tournament, I mean, this was in Thailand. It was in the morning, and it was actually a bit of a chilly day, and there was like a really strong breeze going, and I could feel like goosebumps from the cold of this breeze, plus the fact that I had adrenaline, and no amount of breathing was going to save me, right? Like, I mean, like, it was just difficult to hold your nerves when you're physically getting bombarded by cold wind as well, right? So it was tough. But yeah, I ended up losing that game as well, which really pissed me off as well, because it crossed my mind whether I should offer a draw in this better position, especially given my nervous wreck. But I didn't offer the draw because I wanted to play for the win. And it was a bit naive, I think, because, I mean, yeah, he's a strong player, and yeah, I probably should have at least seen if I could get that half-point result against... Yeah, it would have been some nice FIDE rating. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think these 2 points are like really, really big. Like, and they've really helped me, and they helped Hakeem, and it's really good. Just take some deep breaths and really lock in on the position. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not like a perfect solution, but I think it definitely helps. Like, if you don't even try breathing, then it's going to be tough. Hey, Tricky, looking good. Thanks so much. What kind of user... Oh, I thought you said username. And I was like, bruh, this ain't no username. It's his surname. But yeah, surname Eggleston. I don't know. I guess it's a funny one. I don't know any other Egglestons. But yeah, crazy.
To be honest, but yeah, it was still, I still think
I
all results were possible at that stage.
I
So.
think this draw was a good decision after all. I mean, you can equally mess it up again too, like
It
that
can go. It can
easily.
kind of go either way. Yeah, it can go either way. I mean, the problem for me was, and this is probably like a lesson that I should teach myself, is that in this position, well, after he played G3, I saw like quite quickly Knight C5 was a problem with Rook C2, but I ended up using up nearly all my time like trying to calculate some kind of forced win in this position, and there wasn't really a forced win to do with the F2 rook. In fact, the only winning move is quite a weird looking move, quite counterintuitive. It's actually rook FD8, which seems a bit strange, and then queen b3 e4. This apparently is a winning for black. But my opponent said he saw this idea, but I didn't see it because I was so focused on hitting that rook on f2. I didn't even think about moving away from the rook.
Understandable.
Actually, I have this problem as well when I've got like a really key idea or like a piece is already on a very useful square. I really struggle to consider ideas of actually moving the piece away from that useful square. But I really found that like I had one tournament, I think in Serbia, where this was like a recurring mistake every game, and every time I would be missing a win because I would refuse to move that beautiful knight on the outpost to another square to go win a rook or something, and I just did not see it because it's already too beautiful as it is. So yeah, it's a good one to keep in mind.
Yeah, apparently this is good. But yeah, I think I just spent too long on this position, and I had to, given that it wasn't going to happen anyway. This rook c2 wasn't going to work. I think I should have just played my move, my e4 idea, and just gone for it and not taken too long on that turn.
Fair enough.
Probably right, because then I was in a difficult position when it's often a draw. There's no time on the clock. It's quite hard, isn't it?
That is hard, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that was a drop draw. Then I think I had like a couple more draws, maybe 1 or 2 wins, and then I got to this position, this game here against Ezra Kirk's one of my teammates in the Fawn Seal. Actually, David Nixon is as well, and I think I played Keith Arkler, who's as well. So I caught up my own teammates I was playing. So we got to this position here. This is like an endgame one.
So okay, what's going on here? So we've got this extra outside pawn, but our rook is in the worst position. Like we would prefer the rook to be behind our pass pawn and their rook in front. Then we're probably just straight up winning this, like easily. Like we just bring the king to b7 and it's winning. But here it's actually a little bit more difficult because their rook is in the more active position behind the pass pawn, currently cutting off the king on the 4th rank. I mean, this might also be another story if our white king is maybe on f5 already. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I would suspect that like the typical winning plan in this kind of position is to go rook a7, a6. And then you want to make a break for it. You want to bring your king over to support the pawn. But it's risky in the sense that black will then take your kingside pawns and then whip their rook back, sacrifice the rook for the a pawn, and then you'll be playing king and rook against king and however many pawns on the king side. Now the good news is that black only has 1 pawn left on the king side. So if you get a scenario where you've got king and rook against king and pawn, then at the very least, you should be able to sacrifice the rook for the pawn. Now I guess the big question is, can you actually go ahead with this whole venture and get your king and rook back in time to win against the king and pawn? That's the golden question. So let's just imagine that, right? Let's imagine that the rook is already on a7, the pawn is on a6, we play king e3, they grab g4, we go king d4, they grab g5. Also, it's very important that the black king was on g7, because I think if the black king was on g8, and you imagine that we've got like a pawn on a6 and a rook on a7, as soon as black takes the g4 pawn, there's going to be this motif of rook b7, which is winning. Because even if black gets the rook behind... Oh, maybe it's not winning, because when we go a7, they could always move their king back to the 7th rank. I swear I lost a game recently with this motif, and I thought that was the take-home message, that there's actually a threat of playing rook b7 that I have to be careful about. I don't know, it looks like to me black can gobble these pawns, easily get the rook back in time, get this pawn rolling. Looks just like a draw. So is there any other winning attempt for white? While the rook is on a6, it could actually be worth trying to play g6, given that the king cannot take it. But then again, let's say you put the rook all the way on a8 and you get the pawn to a7. Then you can consider ideas of g6 where the king cannot take, because then you've got like rook g8 check and promote. So maybe you've always got this theme of g6. So let's imagine the rook's on a7, a8, and the pawn is on a7. Do we have this trick of like pushing g6? It doesn't do anything, right? The pawn just takes and the king just shuffles between g7 and h7. I think is a draw. Yeah, so I think the winning attempt is to put rook on a7, pawn on a6, but I don't see how you'd win that. You can't trade these pawns off somehow. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what people are saying. My breathing is pretty bad, says Josh. That's probably something worth working on. I don't know. I just tried to make the most of the adrenaline, but after a long tournament, I have a habit of collapsing at the end. Right. That's an interesting point. I tried to make the most of the adrenaline, like, in the position. I think that's actually kind of true as well. If you can channel the adrenaline as opposed to just repressing it, that's going to be really good, because sometimes, you know, the more you try and repress something, the more it just, like, spirals out of control. So just, like, channeling it is probably better. But yeah, it's very difficult. Good placed pieces are meant to restrict the opponent. Threat is bigger than execution, but the first thing I look at is if I can use my best placed pieces for a winning tactic. Yeah, that's the thing I'm missing. That's such a good point. I'm even going to write that one down. I actually love that. I love that for us. Okay, so can I use my best place pieces for a winning tactic? I mean, it's like, it should be obvious, but it's really not to me. Which is, yeah, that might actually help a lot. Because I mean, yeah, the whole point of them being well placed is that they should be able to do something useful. Like, I should be looking out for ways I can, you know, use them from that good place, you know? I think maybe it's a problem with, like, maybe my philosophy as a person. It's like, I'm a very happy person when I'm in a good place, right? And I don't need to use this good place. Like, let's say my position I'm in now, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place of life and I'm quite happy. And that's enough for me, right? I'm happy to just sit on that good place. I don't need to suddenly use this good place to, like, I don't know, go save the world or something, you know? Like, I don't need that, right? I don't need to transform this advantage into something else. I'm just happy to sit on it. So it's like, I'm not so keen to, like, you know, find that winning blow. I'm just chilling in that good place, right? So it's the same with my pieces, right? Like, I'm happy for them. They've done their job. They don't need to do anything more. Like, I'm happy for them. But yeah, if we want to win the game, then probably we need to go do something with this power and strength, right? But yeah. Josh says, I'm still trying to understand this rook endgame. I don't think I understand rook endgames very well, to be honest. Have you seen Shanklin's book? I don't usually like his books much because they're too hard. I didn't know he even has a book on rook endgames. So no, I haven't seen his book, if he's got a book on rook endgames. And I kind of agree. I'd say that his opening courses and books, they're extremely in-depth and difficult, and I don't like them. But I do have a book which I won as a prize called Small Steps to Giant Improvement, and it's all about pawns and pawn structures. And that I actually felt was very readable. Like, that's not actually, like, too difficult to follow. Even though I only read, I don't know, like a quarter of the book, I think, if that. So that's actually a book I would love to have spent more time on, because I think pawns are like a certain weakness of mine in terms of like getting them right. Yeah. But anyway, let's keep watching this endgame.
And in this position, Black, he doesn't really want to move, if that makes sense. He doesn't really want to like move his king from G7. He doesn't really want to like let my king go up the board. But he played sort of probably like the worst like waiting move that he could have played here.
Oh god, what's the worst waiting move you can play? I would say King H7 looks the most natural, but it also could be the worst. Like, there might be just some like tactical reason why King H7 just sucks. What on earth could be the worst waiting move here? I love how like King H7. What if there's Rook F6, hitting the pawn, and on King G7, then they go Rook F5 and defend the pawn from the side. Would that like? But hold on a sec. If King H7 and Rook F6, and they just take on A5 and we take on F7, is that winning or is that a draw? I think that's a draw because we control the queening square. We just go back King G8, and we're just going to put a rook on the back rank. And I think this endgame of king controlling the queening square, rook on the back rank, versus a knight's pawn, even when the knight's pawns are doubled, I think that's a draw. I think you can just do passive defense. So I think King H7 is safe. I mean, I'd really hate my life if King H7 is actually a losing move. I mean, what can be a bad waiting move here? I mean, any rook move seems fine. Any king move to H7 seems fine. And surely he's not playing like, I don't know, King F8 or something. That would be terrible. But like, I can't imagine him playing that. But let's see.
Which was the move? This should be a draw, really. Which was the move King G8.
He played King G8. That's insane. Why? Why would he do that? I feel like that's just so unnecessary to go on the back rank. But it still seems fine. Like, but okay, let's think then. What's the way to deal with this then? So if G6, yeah, we can just play G6 now. Because then on G6 pawn takes, we take with check. The king moves and then white plays rook G5. Can you imagine? How are these, like, oh, that's insane. And this is why I'm such a big advocate for, just being content with drawish positions. Because the amount of times the opponents can just blunder, it's ridiculous. Like Victor Stoyanov 2200, this Eggleston 2300, and bro's playing King G8. Like it's crazy how like even strong players can have like just huge flaws in their chess. And this is why I really hope if I can fix my tactical ability and start working on calculation, I have some hopes. I have some hopes that like, okay, I mean, talking a lot of trash, maybe I'm not even right about this G6. I mean, I see some comments in chat, so let's see what people are saying. Theoretical rook endgames. I can't, now it rings a bell, but I haven't even considered it. It's like, I don't have time for theoretical rook endgames with my current set of skills. I have much more pressing matters. For instance, you're a Russian-style player thinking of improving your worst piece place. I'm a crazy player using the 3-4 pieces only to win. I see. I need a bit of both, I think. Peter says maybe he was worried about, I guess you meant King H7? Yeah, sorry, King H7. So King H7, Rook H6, King G7, A6. Ah, like that. That's very fair. But what's the plan then? I guess White's plan would be to bring the king all the way over to b3 or something, or what? Frizz, you're close to 2500 chess combat. Sick. Is that in Blitz? If it's in Blitz, that's insane. That's why Magnus always squeezes water out of the stone in Dead Drawn endgames. Yeah, I mean, this is the dream. I'm trying to think of Peter's King h7, Rook h6 check, King g7, a6. Yeah, it's really legit. Yeah, how do you even deal with that? Because now you can't even shuffle between h7, right? So what do you even do? I guess if you keep your rook on the a file, maybe even rook a5, you hit the pawn. Then white might need to play like king f4, and then you just go back rook a4 check. And the king can never step forward onto the 6th rank without dropping the pawn. So I think that probably looks like a draw. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really work. Yeah. Josh says, yeah, it turns out that endgames are quite difficult. Yeah. That's why Magnus can induce mistakes. If players truly knew them, they would almost never make mistakes, but they almost always do, yeah. Yeah, so much play in endgame still to be had.
Yeah, and I think...
Which is, for the record, why it's so important that you just don't get so bogged down in trying to, like, secure that plus 0.6 edge from the opening, and you're like, oh, I'm going to dismiss this plus 0.2 move because, like, it's plus 0.2. It's like, there's so much more to chess than, like, just looking at this tiny 0.4 evaluation, and you've got to remember that players were playing chess before computers existed and had no idea what the evaluations were, and were basing their, like, opening lines and ideas on completely different metrics. And it's still completely unrealistic to think that your opponents are going to be so deeply engine prepared to cause you any problems if you choose an inferior move. So you really should just focus on finding lines that reach positions where you can outplay your opponent based on your own strengths and also based on the actual position. Like, is it a kind of position where you can outplay someone, or is it just some random computer evaluation that you're following like a slave? You know, this is like, I mean, I'll say this every single week of my life if I have to for people to get this, but it's like so important that you think of it this way. But yeah.
This move like cost him the game because it allows me to play a certain move here, which gives him some problems. So I don't know.
Oh.
I love how Anna is just getting a free chess lesson, like by being a part of this. This is so cool. Actually, Peter, do you know if Nick has other videos like this on ChessBase? I mean, like, I'm learning so much from this. This is awesome.
If you can see.
Yeah, if you want to stop the video at home, think for a second.
Did we already decide that G6 was the move? I mean, let's actually see why it's winning. So G6, pawn G6, rook G6. Let's say king, I don't know, king F7 and rook G5. King F6, rook F5 check, king G6. And how do you win from there? Let's say you bring the rook over to B5 and you're threatening like this idea to help get the pawn a bit closer by playing rook B6 check and A6. So let's say rook B5, king G7. But then you can always go king G3, king H4, king H5 and start working on that pawn. Oh my god. That's
the
crazy.
first or the only thing which...
Peter says, I've only seen this video. I'm not sure if there are others. Fair. We'll have to dig a bit. Because, I mean, this is absolute quality. Like, one way we can dig is click watch on YouTube. Oh, this is just Chess-Based channel? Do they have, like, other gems like this? Maybe on the playlists, do they have, like, some old... Oh, they have so much content? I only knew that, like, Chess-Based India had content. Are you kidding me? You get all of this? Are these just like live streams, or are these actually videos like? Oh, this looks like it's just live streams. I didn't even know Chessbase like supported the British Championships. And you've got a whole folder of Fritz trainers. I guess these are just like promos for actual courses. How interesting. How interesting. My top videos, what is this? What is this? Can you imagine professional chess-based YouTube channel just has some random... What is this? Man, this... That's so funny. Oh wow, we've got some old videos. That's very cool. That's very cool. I didn't even know that this chess-based channel existed. What's 2017 FIDE World Cup, and it's got... Oh, this looks fantastic. Got interviews with positions. Holy crap. Yeah, we're gonna have to investigate this one. This looks very cool. What else do I have? Spielman's Agony. Oh, that sounds incredible. I don't know what. Agony 118. English Botvinnik setups at club level. Oh my god. Yo, this is an insane goldmine. How did I not know about this? How to prepare for a tournament, full playlist. Yo, this is insane. One of the best chess trainers you will ever find. Yo, what the hell, guys? Did any of you know that this existed? This is crazy. The Endgame Magic Christmas calendar. Why did I missed out on this? I could have had one door every single day for Christmas. Ah, man. Ah, this is crazy. This is so good. Okay, I've got the rest of my evening sorted. But yeah, let's watch a bit more of this first. I've also got a chess lesson in half an hour, so I better not take too long with this. It was this video, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was still, you know, as takes and lose to a pawn. Black, he doesn't really want to move, if that makes sense. He doesn't really want to like move his king from g7. He doesn't really want to like let my king go up the board.
For a second. Bam. No, I'm not.
It's just a move that the king g8 allows me to play. Which
I get it. I found it. It is G.
I've seen this endgame calendar before. How was the endgame calendar? Yeah, it could be an intern. Who knows? Chessbase Mod loves piano. I used to read all the articles on Chessbase site. That's crazy. That's crazy.
G6, right?
Yeah, G6 exactly. So if he wants to move the king, he didn't have to move the king. If he wants to move the king, he would be better off putting on say putting H7 or F8 or something. Because then if G6 just take and then obviously rook takes and lose the a pawn. But by putting it on G8 after G6, now if he takes it, I can take back and still save my a pawn, which probably means I'm winning. So this was probably quite an unfortunate choice of move king G8.
True.
And then he played F6.
Oh.
And now I don't want his king to come up the board.
Yeah, F6 is actually a very good try because if rook takes F6, rook takes A5, I think that's a draw. Again, it's this passive defense situation, right? So, what's actually the move here? Yeah, like as Nick said, he doesn't want the king coming up the board, so rook A7, I assume. Then white will play rook A6, and then what's the winning plan? But you see now, we can actually make progress because we can go king G3, king h4, king h5, king h6. And my only question I have is, as soon as we play the move king h4, can black actually push f5? And I think the answer is no. Let's say we've got rook a7 and a6 on the board. We go king g3. As soon as we go king h4 and they push f5, we can go king h5. And no matter how they take... Well, maybe... Okay, if they take with the pawn, I think we just go king h6 and it's GG. But if they take with the rook, what happens there? Because king h6, they can play rook h4 check. But then we go king g5, and on rook g4 check, we go king f6. And we use that own pawn as an umbrella. And that's winning. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, man.
So now I play rook a7 and I cut him off. Yeah.
That was the thing I had to calculate. And this cutting off is like, oh gosh, yeah, that's it. That's game over, right? Immediately.
I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, okay, he played on for a bit. I think we played a few more moves, but eventually he was lost at that point. With this sort of position, it was quite funny.
Don't go to h5, of course.
Oh, yeah, true.
I tell you,
oh my god, when I was calculating this, did I blunder this? So the joke is, let's get it on the board.
I think we played a few more moves, but
yeah, here.
Eventually,
like king h5 is blundering mate. So when the rook was on a3 and I was saying the pawn was on a6, did I literally blunder mate? I think I literally did. I was just like, oh, I can just go to h6 and give checkmate, and I'm getting checkmated myself. That's actually really funny. Okay, in fairness, when I was calculating, the rook was still on a4. So yeah, the rook has moved. You know, I would hope that I would see this. And then yeah, it looks like g5 is the way. Interesting. How do you win? Actually, after g5, f5? How are you winning this? Just put the rook back on a3. Maybe with the extra pawn, there aren't any stalemate tricks, so you can even push g7, right? And then you can go king h5, because any checks, you've got this magic square on g6. And there's no, like, sacrificing the rook ideas, because you've got this extra pawn.
Yeah, he was lost at that point. With this sort of position, it was quite funny.
Don't go to h5, of course.
Exactly. I had to be careful. I thought, like, if I touch my king, I'm busted. Yeah. But it's funny because his f pawn was actually really useful for me for like two reasons. Because firstly,
he's gonna save a stalemate.
There were a lot of positions where I was like almost stalemating him, and it was quite handy that he had the f pawn, so he couldn't just like sacrifice his rook.
Funny.
And the other thing was that I thought at some point my king might come to f6, and the f pawn is a little bit, stopping him from checking me, if that makes sense. So
yes.
Kind of getting in his way a little bit.
Yeah, it is actually far more complicated than I just thought. So I see a lot of things right now while you're just playing the moves, that there are some tricks and...
There's a few tricks, yeah. I think he's pretty much busted here because I'm just threatening king g6, for example. So you have to play king h7, g6, king g8. But this position definitely is useful that he's got the f.
Wait, why? Like in this position, why can't you just promote g8 equals queen, king takes g8 force, and just go king g6? I guess he can play king f8, and then maybe that's like a little bit dicey still. Even though it also looks completely winning, like king f6, can we just push the g pawn? I guess king f6, they can push their f pawn, and okay, maybe it's more complicated.
G6, king g8, but this position definitely is useful that he's got the f pawn because
now he can use it as an umbrella. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so I think I started with king h6 and then pulled it back, but my idea was then just to come into f6 and
nice.
And so if he plays rook a3 and then obviously king f6 is the idea. And obviously there's never any stalemates with the f pawn on the board. So he played to c3 with the hope of obviously checking me.
Checking from the side. So how do we win this? How do we win this? Now we can play rook b7. I think rook b7 is winning, because if they go back, then we just go a7, and then we have a huge threat. So yeah, rook b7.
But now he's not controlling the a pawn, so now I can just move the rook out of the way and queen the a pawn, and okay. It was. I think he was ironed here. But definitely the key move was that king g8 that gave me a chance to
Wow.
play g6, and then I was winning. If he hadn't have played that, it still wasn't. I would have still played on, obviously, but it was, technically a drawn position.
Yeah. And if he would have gone to a5 with the rook instead, you would still just move to
In which position?
not
In
sorry,
this
to
position?
a3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then I could just play king f6,
Yes,
for
exactly.
example. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then so this is the kind of situation where it's nice that he's got the f4.
My God.
It's getting in his way.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice one, nice one. Oh,
So that was that kind
rough.
of got me into like contention.
Yeah.
And so then I think going into with 2 rounds to go, there was 5 of us were joint level, and I ended up playing all 4 of the other players on that score group. So I think maybe I didn't play like the highest rated players, but I played like probably the most informed players, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I was playing all the guys like Harry Grieve or Matthew Wadsworth, or these guys that were basically at the top of the tournament. I mean, this one I'll just briefly show 1 or 2 lines, but this was probably for me like the key game that cost me the title. Because
okay.
it ended up being a draw, and I had
You
I think I
didn't lose any game, right? Or did you?
I didn't lose any this time,
yeah.
no. But this one I think I had 3 clear chances to win.
Ah.
One of them I think was not too hard to find. The other 2 were a bit of a nightmare.
Oh no! Okay.
I kind of excuse myself for missing it, but So again, I think in this position, I played rook d8. I think after the game, maybe I could take the knight as an option. It's not a computer suggestion; it's just one of my ideas. With the idea that whichever way he recaptures, I can get this knight to f4. If that makes sense. So it takes the g pawn, I could go to h5. It takes the e pawn, I could go to d5. So I was thinking that was kind of my idea that I was thinking about at the time. But I thought, okay, I'll play rook d8 first. And then he comes up with this move, queen e2, which at the time I thought, okay, that's got to be a mistake, because when my knight lands on f4, I'm going to be attacking his queen.
But how does he get
more I
the
thought
knight to
about it,
f4? Because when you can take with the g pawn, and you can't go knight h5, right? That's the point.
the more I realized actually it's a really strong move. And then the computer agreed that it was actually the best move. So yeah, it was probably the move. And this is where I end up losing a lot of time. And the main problem is if I take the knight now, he can take out the g pawn, and then his queen is covering the h5 square. So I can't get my knight to f4 quite so easily. Especially, if okay, this is part of the problem. If knight h5, you can just take it, and it's probably about equal. So I was really.
Yeah, for the record, the reason why it says equal after takes is because the d2 knight is hanged, so it'll just be a trade of knights and then nothing much going on.
Trying to find some way to get one of my knights to f4, because I thought, okay, that's the key. If I can get a knight to f4, then surely I'm doing well. So I started with
how?
okay. So knight f8 was my first move. But I can't take his knight on f5 now until I've played like knight e6, because that cuts my square. But then he plays knight c4, and he just was making it awkward for me. So now if I play knight e6, he can take on e5. So next I tried to play knight d7 to defend the pawn. Yeah, then he played f4, which was another annoying move, because he just like not giving me that time I need to play knight e6.
You prepared everything, and then you just putting in those obstacles all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of key as well. He's got to play. I mean, his position is like critical. If I get my knight to f4, he's really going to suffer. So he's got to like keep that pressure on. Now basically. So anyway, so I played f6 to secure the one take, and then I took with the knight. I think after f takes rook d1, I was just a bit nervous that he was going to start getting quite a lot of play here. So I took knights, which I think was supposed to be the right move. He played g5 again, like another move, just putting pressure on me before. Just not letting me settle, trying to open up this long diagonal for the bishop. And now I actually missed a winning line, and I don't think it was that obvious, but apparently this was the winning line: bishop f7, queen e2, rook d2, queen g4, and then there's a killer blow here.
Okay, killer blow. Let's see if we can find it. I think this might even have to be the last thing we do before I need to go. My lessons prepared, of course, but probably a break would do me some good. Oh, killer blow here. Okay, let's think. Could I blow here? I mean, this should be in Frizz's territory, right? Because I've got all my pieces, like, not in the attack. Only a few pieces are working. So let's actually, in the spirit of Frizz's comment about using your best pieces, rather than, let's say, improving the knight on f8 to join the attack, let's try and just use the pieces we've got. And yeah, what moves can potentially disrupt the defense or bring in an attacker? You've got the checks, queen b6 check, bishop c5 check. Potentially queen h2, which probably doesn't work. Rook takes g2. Anything else? Anything else? I was looking at bishop c4 ideas in the sense that pawn takes c4, maybe queen b6 with some attack on the bishop on b2, like some abstract thing like that. Maybe bishop d5, trying to get a second rook to the 7th rank if it gets taken. It's kind of shenanigans, maybe. Which actually starts to look stronger and stronger the more I looked at it, but at the same time it's like, do they even have to take you? Bishop h5, in the sense if bishop takes h5, maybe like, yeah, now you get queen g3 or something, which doesn't work of course because there's a knight as well, but probably something worth considering. I don't know why, but I'm still thinking of the Viktor Stoyanov blunder from that first game. Like, oh my god, like, the fact that Viktor didn't, like... Maybe, actually, I should check... Okay, sorry guys, I'm really curious now. I want to see, did Viktor actually quit chess for, like, a few months or something after that? No, he immediately played a tournament and gained 45 points. What a legend. What an absolute legend. I guess he'd probably already booked Northumbria Masters and decided he had to play. That's super cool though. Yeah. Recovering from the tilt in sublime fashion. I didn't see it. Let me actually keep trying, like what lines are there? So okay, let's actually calculate some of these lines. So let's say queen b6. Just king h1. And what now? Oh, hold on a sec. We've also got bishop takes b3. Like, I'm so focused on trying to do something to the king, I forgot. I mean, bishop takes b3. They can't take because we take on b2 and we win a pawn, but okay, I mean, he's literally about to crush us. Like, he's taking on f6 and it feels terrible. So I feel like we do need to attack the king. Yeah, I'm not gonna overexert myself because I need enough energy to give a good chess lesson, you know. So let's see what chat is saying. Yeah, no time to improve your pieces, right? Exactly, Josh. Does bishop takes b3 work? Yeah, I don't know. Bishop takes b3 doesn't work. I calculated it, right? Yeah, it looks extremely risky with g takes f6 looming. Josh says rook takes g2 is my main try. And if g takes f6 we can play g6. Yeah, I kind of saw this as well, I just didn't quite believe it. Like, I think for instance bishop takes b6, g f6, g6. Maybe they can even go f7. Welcome, Victor Lima, to becoming a tactical rat, our second tactical rat on the channel. Victor Lima, I'm afraid to say, like, who are you? because I haven't seen you message on the stream before. So I mean, I appreciate the support, but yeah, tell me more about who you are, mysterious person. But yeah, bishop takes b3, gf6, g6. I was thinking maybe they just push f7, because if we take f7 with the bishop, then I think they can go knight h6 check with the fork and take on f7. So yeah, rook takes g2. What follows that? Rook takes g2, queen takes g2. And okay, for the record with the membership, I'm really glad that I went with this name Tactical Rat, because we are basically gym rats doing this kind of, you know, this grinding of like chess. It really feels like we're just heading to the gym and just doing our brain training for the day. So I feel like it's a good term. But yeah, Josh, you're not the only rat in the chat now. So you have a new friend. Frisk says he got it. Okay, I need to lock in for like 1 minute before I need to go. God, I feel like I'm nowhere near finding this. But yeah, Victor, if you don't say who you are, no problem. You can stay anonymous, and I appreciate the support anyway. I know that there are several of you who just enjoy watching the streams and don't comment in the chat. That's completely fine as well. Whatever floats your boat. Oh God. So, what about the other candidate moves? So queen b6 and bishop c5, they just go king h1. What on earth is the idea? Is rook takes g2? I mean, they can literally just take back with either piece, I think. One idea I'm feeling is like, oh, what if we're able to dislodge several of these pieces? So like play bishop h5, queen takes h5 and go g6. And when the queen moves, take the knight and then try and infiltrate on g3, something like this. Bishop h5, queen takes h5, g6. Maybe queen h4 back. We take the knight. And what have we really done? Except ruin our structure even more. I'm wondering if changing the move order helps. Also, it doesn't even work because bishop h5, queen takes h5, g6 has knight h6 check in between move, and then you just move the queen back. I wish I could get this one, but I don't think it's gonna happen. What were the other candidate moves I suggested? I just thought of a really weird analogy as well. But you know how some people joke about the fact that if you keep drinking, then you'll never get hungover because you'll stay drunk, right? And I was thinking about the fact that like, my tactics and tactical form has been really good recently. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Like if I just keep doing tactics, I can't ever have that drop off because I'm just always tactically on form. It's like I'm always drunk on tactics, basically. So that's kind of what's happening, I think, this last week. But yeah, no, I've got a lesson to teach very soon, so I'm gonna check chat. Rook takes e4. So let me try and work out the solution before seeing the rest of the line. So rook e4. If bishop takes e4, then queen h2. And this is exactly the kind of move that I was trying to find, where it's like, any move that potentially disrupts the defense is good, right? So rook e4 and queen e4, then bishop e4. Now it all comes clear. That's annoying that I couldn't find this. I mean, yeah, but I'm also feeling kind of cooked right now. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Yeah, you got to realize it's 1 a.m. over here. So yeah, I've I've had a long day. Let's put it that way. But yeah, rook e4, queen e4, bishop e4. Amazing, beautiful. Welcome back, Venomous.
Which I completely missed. I mean,
yeah, this is
I'll be impressed if you can see it. But
been very. Just an hour ago, I was solving tactics with Lawrence with Lawrence Trent.
okay,
But,
this is another one.
There is something about the queen having to be there to defend g2, but I haven't figured out what yet. So, to not delay this too long.
Yeah, no, so actually the key move here, which I missed, was actually rook takes e4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh
so if you
my goodness.
Yeah, which if he takes with the bishop,
I love
then
Arno's reactions.
I've got the mate exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And if he takes with the queen, then
Very
I've got
nice,
the bishop
very
d5,
nice.
and apparently it's winning for me. So that was my first chance to win, but I don't want to beat myself up about it too much because I feel that's quite
That's
that's actually quite hard to see because at first you see that queen on g4, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm the one who's going to get mated.
Exactly.
The queen,
Yeah.
the knight, the bishop all aiming at my king, the rook. Yeah, so but I didn't realize rook e4 apparently was winning for me. So that was my first chance, but not maybe the easiest one. So anyway, so I played b5. And yeah, it's all got a bit messy. So my second chance was
Okay, and on that note, before we get to the second chance, I'm gonna have to call it a day there, guys. But I'm gonna finish watching this video after my lesson probably, before I head to bed. And the other thing as well is, yeah, incredible that Chessbase, not Chessbase India, which has like many other good contents, but there's actually educational content here on just the Chessbase channel, like this series on how to prepare for a tournament. This looks absolutely fantastic. Like look at this, like create an opening repertoire, prepare against your first, I don't even know, first opponent and succeed, come back after a loss. Yeah, this looks absolutely brilliant. And I believe this player, Lilith, I think she's an IM or something. I think she's really good. So yeah, no, mate, I'm gonna pull an all-nighter at this rate, like watching all of his chess content. So, yeah. On that note, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, I will be back for more chess training on Friday. You can bet your bottom dollar. Okay, thanks for coming, and see you around, guys.